That was a clunky transition there, Restream. I mean, hi everybody. How's it going?
I gotta say that
Someone's been eating their gummy worms right there. I tell you what. If you want to know what that means, patron.
Yes, you just gotta. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
Tis
the
the
devil
season to drink creamy drinks. La la la
Ask your
la
mom and
la
see what
la
she
la.
thinks.
There's a swallow joke there somewhere.
Heyo!
It's definitely
I grabbed
not
a
an
candy cane
unladen
that's
swallow.
completely crumpled up, so you know what? That's just going straight in.
I feel like Josh completely missed my my unladen swallow joke there. Disappointing. Disappointing. Anyway, hi. How are you? Welcome to the Black Tower Podcast, a Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Andrew, your Bajan Mahale.
I'm Maurice, your Aethon Mahale.
I am Josh, your Sorovan Mahale. Currently fighting with a candy cane. I was gonna have this cool looking little accoutrement to my eggnog drink, but no, I had to grab the candy cane
the front
that's
fell
in
off.
pieces. So you know what? It's all just going in.
Sometimes you just got to go all in. And speaking of going
Balls to the
all
wall,
in,
as it
if
were.
you want to get all in the know for Black Tower podcast stuff, make sure you go and check out our Patreon, where you can help support what we do here at the Black Tower podcast. It's got you can listen to all of our live recordings as we're recording. At certain tiers, you can get early access to the episodes. There's stickers, which do not fret, patrons. Overdue stickers have been ordered. Just approved the proofs today. So they've been ordered. They should go into production probably realistically after the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. So those are coming to be sent out. And when we send those out, we'll also get caught up on physical benefits, because there are certain tiers where we send you different merch and stuff. We want to try to make some new merch designs before we send any of that stuff out, because we've kind of sent out pretty much most of what we feel comfortable sending out from our current designs. But in between the Thanksgiving holiday and now the Christmas holiday, rolling into New Year's and work and family and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a bit hectic. So please, you've been bearing with us, but please bear with us a little bit longer. Stickers absolutely are coming out, and there's probably going to be a bit of a surprise for all of you in each one of the packages. I mean, it's nothing like incredibly crazy, but you won't be able to say you don't have any stickers at all after you get these next stickers that come. I promise you that. Yeah. I also need to empty out some of these sticker boxes I have, so those envelopes might be a little on the thick side when you get them.
Girthy,
but,
even.
Yeah. But you also get access to some patron-only channels where you can remind us that we're running late. Be like, hey, I'm waiting on you guys to start the episode. We'll be like, oh shit, sorry, we running our mouths too long in the pre-recording.
It's also true.
Which is something else you get. We do pre-recordings as often as we can, generally for most of the episodes, where we get together and talk about just random crap before whatever the episode topic is, and we post it for patrons and patrons only. So you're the only ones that ever get to hear it. We post it just for you. So if you're able to and you feel like doing it, please head on over to patreon.com and check us out, patreon.com/Black Tower Podcast, I believe. Nope. Black Tower Pod. What did I put on this? Hey, I put the right thing.
Good job.
I could have just pulled the picture back up again, and just flash banging people with the parchment.
In case you wanted to know where it was.
Yeah, it's right there. Patreon.com/Black Tower Pod. Access to exclusive content, early episodes, bonus. Well, we don't do bonus Tainty Show. But we might. We've thought about it. And more.
Is that something you'd like to see? Maybe become a patron and let us know.
I know at one point we did do like very short patron only stuff, I think, outside of the pre-recordings. So yeah. Anyway, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and spoiler warn everybody for this episode, so we can get into the fun stuff and just talk about whatever we want.
We do indeed have spoilers.
We do, and this one comes from our good friends over at the Gleeman's Apprentice. Yay!
The Black Tower stands fully erect.
When the tower is bulging at full erectness, you must protect yourself from tainty spoilers.
Your spoiler condom must cover the immense girthiness of all 14 books of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time.
With an itty-bitty tip at the top for the prequel New Spring.
If your condom is too small, you will get tainty spoiler jizz all up in your eye.
Or ears. You have been warned.
And you don't want that. Trust me.
It burns. It burns quite a lot. It's like
Not good.
taste the taint, but in your eye hole.
No amount of
Nobody
can
wants.
help with it.
Yeah. You can flush your eyes with milk all you want. That just hurts in a different way.
It's just a different kind of pain.
Your eyes shall know. Oh,
You shall
don't know.
know pain.
Yeah, been on a bit of a Naruto kick. Like my travel sound in the car has been a YouTube channel that I really enjoy that does a lot of like explaining shit from Naruto. I already know way too much about Naruto, and so I listened to a YouTube channel that goes even further in depth into Naruto to
Love
expand
it.
my knowledge about Naruto, which in no way helps anything I do. I got like two coworkers, one that really enjoys Naruto and another one that like kind of enjoys it. So we talk about it occasionally. And so I get to dazzle them with bullshit useless knowledge that they're
Perfect.
like, "Oh wow, oh that's cool. Didn't know that. Oh, that's neat." And it's like, yeah, it's also completely useless unless I get called in to like play some Naruto trivia game. Then maybe. And it'll probably be like an episode I haven't heard or just some shit I didn't remember. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's there. Yep.
It is neither here nor there. You are correct.
So today's episode, if I had to guess, because I didn't ask this beforehand, as to who put this idea on the old tracker, I would guess our Sadai friend here.
What?
I would guess
Oh my
all
God,
Reese.
Andrew, you can't just call them Sadai people.
You can.
I mean, I could call them witches with a hard W.
No, you cannot.
What's up, my witch?
11 minutes in and we've been canceled. Sweet.
Woo!
If we get canceled for calling someone my witch, then I don't want to be uncanceled, I guess. That's fucking stupid.
It's fair, I think. Mhm.
Which? I'm 100%
Yeah.
witch.
So
Which? I'm
this
200%
actually-
witch.
I'll admit this idea actually came up after man. So the warder and I have swapped stories, and he is reading The Wheel of Time and I am reading One Piece. I got to a very difficult portion in One Piece and I was really, really mad. I was really mad because let's say I knew this part was coming. I had it spoiled for me, but the how just really blindsided me and I was so mad. I was so mad that it's like really it's really slowed my progress in reading. And I had a very I blew through I've been reading the omnibus mangas and I blew through 1.5 on a trip that we went on because we had airplane rides and car rides and downtime with family and I just crushed it and got
That's
to the part and flipped the page and I'll admit
Did you gasp?
okay, no, I didn't gasp. I'm so mad because I'm an asshole and I have a really bad sense of humor. So I laughed. When I turned the page, I laughed because the irony was so heavy I couldn't get past it. And that ruined it for me first because
That happens.
I was just ha! Oh my God. No.
Don't feel bad. I left at the sad part to bridge the Terabithia in a church while we were watching it as part of a youth group. Everybody else is like, oh no, and I'm like, ha. So
Okay, so yeah. Anyways, I
hopefully that makes you feel a bit better.
the irony. It does a little bit, to be honest. The irony got me. The irony got me first, and then it was
As
the
it
shock came after, and I was like, wait, really? really? Like this? And I was really mad because I like already knew it was coming and I just didn't know how. And so I wasn't ready for the how, and I didn't like the how, and I didn't handle it well. But
uh,
we were on a bit of a car ride, so in an attempt to like, okay, we gotta make this right. I can't just rage out about this the whole drive home. I was like, okay, so clearly there's a bit of pride involved here. So I'm gonna give this character that I'm referring to in One Piece, he's gonna get the pride title for the 7 deadly sins. So let's assign the 7 deadly sins. So that's what we did.
okay.
And then I was like, let's do this
Love
in the
it.
Wheel of Time
Love it.
because
Love
I
it.
love this. I love doing this. I think it's both easy and difficult because at first you're like, oh, this is so simple. I can assign this super easily. And then you realize that, gosh, there's quite a lot of people that you can assign to these.
You know what? You
No.
know what I love about this premise
This might be the
too.
most badass the Forsaken I've ever looked. Just the way this thumbnail portrays them.
Do you know what I love most about this premise too is that the Forsaken, we like to talk shit about the Forsaken, and we like to say things like, wow, they're really vain and shallow and stupid and lame, and there's just not a lot there. But anybody who takes 10 seconds to delve a little deeper into the Forsaken will find that no, these are very rich characters who have depth and consequence and attitude and personality. And so I think this is going to be really fun to try and assign some of these, because I think all of them can be categorized into a deadly sin, but I don't think all the deadly sins are going to be represented here today.
Well, we'll see. So this works super well too because the Forsaken themselves are all like former heroes or scholars or something of that caliber. They're all also. I mean, there's a little bit of debate that can be made here. I think with Lanfear, but ultimately they all chose to go to the Shadow willingly. And their failures aren't just like the strategic and external failures we see from the War of Power, and into the Third Age, but there's also a lot of internal failures they have. In fact, like they're kind of marred by their internal struggles and desires and strife being like kind of like their main defeated force. Like what kills Forsaken? There's Rand with Balefire, and then there's like their own bullshit above that.
And usually
going
more
on.
often their own.
Yeah.
bullshit.
So to go with this, before we get into like the rules of this thought experiment exercise, what I always think is fun to talk about is a bit of the origin of the 7 deadly sins, and kind of where it comes from. Because there is some misnomer. Some folks are still under the impression that it comes from Catholic or Christian actual text, like the actual Bible. It doesn't. It does come from it comes from early Christian monastic thought. So like Christian monks and the sort, doing a bunch of like meditating on the Bible and the teachings of the Bible and ways to more easily express the themes and concerns in the Bible to the populace, especially during ages where like the Bible is only available in Latin and only the church and the nobles can read Latin. So, which is also the origin of confession. In case you didn't know, because how do you confess to doing something wrong when you can't read anything to see that it's wrong? So you have to go and tell somebody everything you did. But there is no direct Bible passage that any of the deadly sins come from. So this some of the earliest record we have is from the Fourth Age. Evagrius Ponticus listed 8 evil thoughts, or what he called the logismoi, that gave breadth or idea to these core evil thoughts. Yeah, actually, definitely a dwarf in a flask.
Definitely.
Then in the 6th century, Pope Gregory I, or Gregory the Great, refined and condensed these 8 evil thoughts into 7. And then in the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas formalized them into the Summa Theologica, where now we know them as the 7 deadly sins. They're called deadly not because they're the worst actions, but because they are considered root vices and patterns of desire that lead to other sins. So it's like a way to explain actions and thought processy to individuals to like, hey, you need to avoid this because it will lead you down this path. So, and we'll go over kind of like the origin of what like pride is, from the Christian monastic thought aspect before we, I guess, really assign a character to it. So for this exercise, to make this a little bit easier, one dominant sin per Forsaken. So that's what we're going to go with. One dominant sin per Forsaken. We're going to go with motivation over action. So what they actually want and are trying to do versus what they actually do or what happened. To make it easier to pick, does their downfall reinforce the sin? Which I think is a really cool add-on. And then with this, of course, power alone. Having power alone is not one of the sins. Pre and post sealing behavior both count. So what they were doing before they were sealed and then after they were unsealed counts in assigning a sin to them.
All right.
So any issues or disagreements with the framing of this whole thingamajigger?
I actually really love the framing because it puts into perspective focus on the personality of the person, not their actions.
Internal.
I am generally a pretty firm believer that people don't usually change all that much, right? Whether they're good or evil or whatever, their personality is generally the same. If I'm a funny person and I decide to change and become evil, I'm not going to stop being funny just because I'm evil, just because I do evil things. I'm still going to be funny. It's just now I'm funny while I do evil shit.
You just do evil things occasionally. That's all.
I'm not evil.
But-
I'm just drawn that way.
That's all.
Like
Jessica Rabbit, she actually seemed like pretty good internally. She was just externally drawn to, maybe especially in that era,
internally,
in a scope that would be. I mean, I'm sure she
dabbling
was
in
hot inside,
watercolors.
too. But only Roger Rabbit would know that. If you ever watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, then you definitely get that reference.
And you definitely
Shocker.
should, because it was ahead of its
should.
time and amazing.
It's a great movie.
So
yeah, go ahead, Josh.
So I like this because we're going to be focusing on the personality of the person rather than what they did, which I think is more important. Who you are will color, the decisions that you make, and I like that premise. So all that to say, I like the premise. I agree with.
This is a good clarifying question from Kari. What about those who came back in other bodies? They count as one or two, etc. I'm gonna say that because the core internal person is the same, it's still gonna count as one. So Morden and Ishmael still count as Morden / Ishmael / Baalzamon / whatever his first stage name was. We're probably just gonna use their Forsaken names. But that'll still count the same. Lanfear and Sindane gonna be the same. Same with Agenor and
Berengar.
Balthamo. Agenor and the other one that died at the same time as him.
Oh yeah,
Balthamo, right? Balthamo died.
Yeah, it
with
is Balthamo.
Agenor, right?
Yeah.
Agenor comes back
Because
as
Bilal is the one that
Osengar.
gets Bilal is the one that gets blitzed out of nowhere by Moraine at this.
Yeah.
In the
And then
Stone of Tear.
Moghedien gets to come back as well, and she gets to be called something. Grendel comes back, and she's named Hessalam, and yeah.
Yeah. So they're all going to be the same person.
I do have one thing I would like to add to this. I made a couple notes in our guide here, but I think that there are some characters that are not Forsaken that very much embody these sins that I think would be fun to look at as well. So kind of like alternatives at the end that might be a good fit. I think there are a few that could fit as well as the Forsaken.
Okay. Where did you add those?
I kind of put them in the headers. I put brackets. Do I have to back out? So
okay. I see. If you want, you can also to like section 3, the ones that don't fit clearly, or that's kind of a different thing. So actually, the brackets thing probably worked better. Yeah, I retract what I said. Ignore me. Sweet. So, yeah. Oh, shocker. Josh ignores me. All right, so why don't we start with pride? Also, for anybody wondering, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I am kind of having to pay attention to my phone because I have a turkey in the smoker right now for Christmas, because that's what my parents they wanted me to smoke a turkey. The one that we
I'm so
didn't do for
excited. You need to
Thanksgiving because
post
I surprised
pictures.
him with a
You know that,
brisket.
right?
Huh?
You need to post pictures. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Next time I go out and I spritz it down, I'll take a picture of it. It's still looking pretty naked right now, but
Sweet.
I'll post some pictures. Anyway, all right. So let's go with the first sin, the lion's sin of. Oh wait, sorry, that's Seven Deadly Sins, the anime. Fantastic anime. You should watch it. The first sin, pride, or as it was known in the Christian monastic traditions, pervia. So it's an excessive belief in one's own importance, superiority, or independence from God and others. Considered deadly because it's also often pride is deadly because it's also part of the original sin because it places the self above all else. It corrupts humility, learning, and repentance. So Adam and Eve, the one instruction, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and you're like, oh well, I can eat from the tree, it's fine. um Historical and theological origin associated with Lucifer's fall. Lucifer's ideology that he will ascend and surpass God. In Aquinas' view, pride is the source of all sin, and it has an opposing view when you look at, because there's also the seven holy virtues. An opposing view would be humility. And there's a classic imagery associated with it, and it's a crowned figure gazing into a mirror that's associated with this. So, little neat stuff here. But for pride here, the one I picked, and we'll see if everybody else agrees. Or does anybody want to pick a character rather than me just
There's
saying
two that came to my mind immediately.
amongst the Forsaken
Yeah.
first? Okay. Who you got?
Reese, do you want to lead off? Do you want me to go?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I have two that jumped off the page immediately. And actually, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I'm kind of going to walk this back to one who I think fits it the most, and that is Samael. I think,
Okay.
like, the reason I kind of stepped back from it, because he could also be envy, right? But I think I'm going to stick with pride because it wasn't just that he was envious of Lews Therin. The reason he was envious of Lews Therin is because he believed himself to be a better general, a better everything. He legitimately saw himself as the best at everything he did, and constantly was like, I don't want to say making excuses, but pretty much making excuses for why Lews Therin kept besting him. So he was constantly looking for a way to finally best Lews Therin, not because he was jealous of Lews Therin, but because he had something inside of him driving him to be the best. Even before all of the fall and the breaking and everything like that, he competed because he had this notion that he was the best, and he worked his butt off to be the best, and he kept getting mad, and he took it as a point of personal pride to be the best, and he got angry, and yeah, he got jealous and things like that. But the main factor, the main driver in his personality was, hey, I'm the best, and if I'm not the best, I'm going to be the best, and it's because I'm the best. He's a very proud gentleman.
Okay.
I
Any
feel like
responses to that, Reese?
I feel like this one's really hard because Samael and Demandred are so similar in these feelings towards Rand and towards themselves, where they not only feel that not Rand, but that Lews Therin is not deserving, but that they are more deserving. And it's hard to kind of determine which between the two is more pride and more envy. I feel like it's really splitting hairs between who is more envious
Yeah.
versus more proud.
Yeah, and my other one was Demandred, but I can't decide if I think Demandred was more proud or more envious. So that's why I went with Samael.
So I like this point here because again, like we're talking about something that inherently brings in the Christian monastic ideas, right? So Snakes and Foxes points out, and one agrees with you, Josh, but because Samael is the angel identified as a snake in the Garden of Eden, I partially agree. If you stick with Christian tradition, he's not. Who was shipping out stuff at 9 o'clock at night to tell me that hey, it's on the way? He's not in the Christian tradition. The straight like product like Christian tradition, the snake is Satan, is Lucifer himself. But there are later Jewish mystical and folkloric traditions that identify the snake as Samael.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's a little bit of both, depending on the tradition you look for. So if we're sticking with Christian monastic tradition for the description of the seven deadly sins, then for in that narrow focus, we would have to disagree.
What a
But Samael is often like depicted as like an angel of death, the prosecutor, an adversary, figure associated with accusation, temptation, and destruction, and sometimes identified with Ha Satan, the adversary, not always just Satan.
what a ridiculously fun parallel. Like Robert
Yeah.
Jordan wrote these books using current day myth, legend, religion, tradition, like all of these things he
Mhm.
wove into this story. And especially did it in a way that he wove it into how would this story be told 3,000 years from now? What kinds of things would be different? What kinds of things would be exaggerated? What kinds of things would be forgotten? Like he did a really great job of doing this. And now here we are looking back 1,000 years and going, records from this tradition say that it's this way, and records from this tradition say that it's that way. And like, what a fun parallel.
Yeah.
God, I love these books. What a fun parallel just to just kind of come across right there. Just right off the bat.
Yeah. But I'm going to agree with Reese and lean more into Demand Dread, and I think it comes more in the framing of the downfall of Demand Dread versus the downfall of Samael. Because when you mentioned earlier, like, oh, Samael could also be an Envy, I'm like, spoiler, that's who I picked for Envy. Because Demandred's entire thing isn't that Luz Theron shouldn't get anything. He should have been recognized better. It's not just the I hate Luz Theron for getting more than I am. It's I hate Luz Theron because I am better than him. I was always better at this. I was always better at that. Not he shouldn't have gotten that. Samuel leans more into the Luz Theron shouldn't have gotten that. I should have gotten it. Whereas Demandred is more of the I was actually qualified for it. But there is still that eternal comparison between himself and Luz Theron. But we see in like what he chooses to do. So like he doesn't really choose to do any actions unless he can overshadow Rand, and by association overshadow Luz Theron. If he can't overshadow him in doing it, he's not going to worry about acting. He also chooses to go to Sara, a foreign land, for his proving ground where he can be uncontested to be the number one. But what I think really sets him apart and puts him solidly into the pride category and him taking the main title as the Sin of Pride is that this pride isolates him from everyone else, except for the Sarans, right? He doesn't interface with any of the other Forsaken to build plans, to build any resilience for the last battle. It's all just him. Now, with doing this, I mean, he is the motherfucker that showed up to the last battle with the actual Sakarnin. So it didn't all go bad, but for him, it's going to be like, well, of course I have the Sakarnin. It's the strongest Sa'angreal outside of the Chodan. Of course it would belong to me because I'm the strongest outside of the Dark One. Of course. Like the only person stronger than me is an extra dimensional cosmic force. Naturally. But he puts his victory over Luz Theron as more important than the Shadow's success. And these factors combine to make the epitome of like the kind of arrogance that you see in Pride. Where Demandred is just the one that like he legitimately believes I am the one that stands at the pinnacle of all race. Like he is Escanor, but fighting for the wrong team. Like he's even got like the fucking fancy like unbalanced stick to hit people with. I mean, he's like literally like Gawain shows up and is like, "I'm gonna defeat you," and he's like, "Who decided that?" These references are killer. If you've watched Seven Deaths, if you haven't, please go and watch it. It's such a good anime, and it does a really good job at displaying all of the sins. But I mean, then again, you do have because for each of these, there's a bit of a debate angle. And for this one, it is Demandred more prideful than Samael? And I think comparing how each one falls in the end, like their downfall, I think Demandred edges out on top in the pride category. I don't think it's by a ton. It's not by a wide margin, especially because we get to see a lot more of Samael than we do of Demandred. But I think that what Demandred does really puts him in like absolute pride, whereas Samael is like pride or envy. And there's I have a bit of a bridging challenge or debate angle for envy that I think will also kind of bridge that gap and everything for that between Samael and Demandred as well. But I don't know. Have Reese and I swayed you into going with Demandred over Samael?
You kind of did, actually. You said one thing that stuck out to me, and that is that
finally, if I speak long enough, one thing will come out.
Sometimes I just start a sentence and I don't know where I'm going with it, but I just keep talking.
The end of the sentence is a surprise to us all.
No, you brought up the point that Demandred was he cared more about defeating Lews Therin than he did about the victory of the Shadow at Tarmangaiden. And he was willing to gamble the victory at Tarmangaiden in order to defeat Lews Therin. And in fact, he spent the first half of the battle, well, the first half of his arrival to the battle, calling out Lews Therin, come to me, let's fight, let's fight. And the last half of the battle going, nobody else is this good with war tactics. I'm going to sit down and focus on all tactics because I'm going up against Lews Therin. He never once cared about a victory of the Shadow. At one point, even giving the Sikarnan to Taim because he didn't care so long as he beat Lews Therin. That's all he cared about.
I was going to bring that up too. Like I just remembered that. Like he gave half the cut portion of the Sikarnan to Mazrim Taim. It was like, also, if you try to turn it against me, I'll kill you with it. I'll know immediately and I'll kill you.
Didn't he give him the whole thing?
No, he gave him half.
Oh.
Because the Sikarnan was actually a staff and the cut part, and you could separate them. And he either gave him the staff part or the cut part. I don't remember. I think it was the cut part. But he split it in two and gave Mazrim Taim or Mahale.
Oh, well, there you go.
And was like, I'm so strong. I don't actually need the whole of the strongest Sa'angreal. This is just a bonus. I wouldn't use it against Lews Therin anyway. I don't need it. You take it, Mahale, you peasant.
You weakling.
So this is actually one of the ones that I felt had a really good, like, non-Forsaken running for who might best represent them in the story. And while I had two people in mind, I think the best non-Forsaken, like, runner-up is actually Gawain for Pride. And that is based off of not just his desire to help, but his idea that it is his birthright to help. Like he is like predetermined to help. It's his duty. It's his destiny to help. He should be helping. And I think that pride often like inhibits his judgment.
Well, yeah, because he ritualistically, or not ritualistically, but regularly, almost religiously, ignores the advice of literally everyone around him, especially after the splitting of the tower, right? Because you get to a point where it's like, Egyanan, I think it was, that sees him with the blood rings and is like, you should destroy those. Those are horrible. You shouldn't even be touching those. And he's like, I'm the Amerlin Seat's warder. I'm pretty sure I can handle it. And it's like, no, you fucking can't. And he's like, I'm pretty, I can do it. It's definitely like that kind of like, it's an oxymoron to say righteous pride to a degree, especially in this context. But like, that's kind of where he is. Like he's super prideful, but he thinks he's doing the right thing. But also I think anybody with sufficient pride would think they're doing the right thing. Like, I don't think Demandred was ever like, no, this is the wrong thing, but I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, this is all that matters. And Gawain was like, yeah, all that clearly matters is me defeating Demandred. And then he fucking gets the smoke.
He's like selfishly moral. Whereas like, this is the right thing to do, but it's me. I'm the one that should do it.
There's at least some morality to his decision. Like, at least like in his mind, he's at least trying to help the good guys, but
he's definitely on the right path. Like he's trying.
I mean,
remember we talked to John from What Up, right? And he was like, like him as a person. It's not like I want to hang out with him. It's not like I want to have a beer with him. But he does. He is a very flawed character, and he does have a kind of code of honor that he is operating on. That, granted, makes sense to nobody but him. But that's not unique to him either.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He's a very realistic character, is what he is.
And not only that, but keep in mind, he was raised in privilege his entire life.
Mhm.
Told that one day you will lead, you will be a leader, and it's just like, no, like
And that's he's got
this
that.
was cultivated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not even fully
Well-
his fault, but he was born believing that it was his birthright to do these things.
Correct.
And it unfortunately, it kind of
Hmm.
built the pride into him.
Well, he's born as the what is his official title? The second prince of the Rose Throne.
First Prince of the Sword.
Yeah, first prince of the sword. So literally from a child he's being taught that his ultimate duty is to sacrifice his life for the queen. Your ultimate duty is to potentially sacrifice your life to save the ruler.
Yeah.
And then he marries the Amerlin seat. So that same idea of, well, my ultimate duty is to give my life for my sister as the queen, realistically easily transfers over to my duty in life is to give my life for the Amerlin seat who's fighting to save the world.
Sure.
And isn't, that disgusting Dragon Reborn guy who, even though they told me he didn't kill my mom, I'm still pretty sure he killed my mom, regardless of what I've seen. Because he's a
And
I
been
don't care
told
what you
prick.
tell me.
and been
He
shown.
killed my mom.
He's talking to his mom, going,
He
"Pretty
killed
sure
you.
Rand
I know
killed
it."
you.
I said,
Rand
died
killed
trickery.
you. You can't trick me.
Yeah.
Rand
Does he
killed
get a
you."
chance to actually talk to his mom? I couldn't remember.
Eventually, but it's like way. It's
I know
like
it's like
after
pretty much at the end. It's
Galad.
like right before the last battle or something.
Yeah, it's like right before the last battle. He barely learns that she's alive. He hugs her. She hugs him, and they have this tender moment, and then they go off and fight, and he dies. Like, he gets to see her like one time after that, I think.
So he doesn't even get enough time to morally come to a space that will let him stop hating Rand for something he didn't do.
No, because that's the thing, is that even after he meets her, he still goes, well, he's still a dick, and I hate him. Like,
Well,
get
he
fucked,
still
dude.
took over Caemlyn for a while, and Caemlyn's never had a king until him, so that's really fucked up. And it's like,
Yeah.
I would say she's not gonna fuck you, but Egwene is about as smart as you are, way smarter. But in those moments, when the hormones hit, not with the hormones, whenever they hit with fucking Gollum.
None of
hanging
us
around
are
there.
smart when the hormones hit.
No
Okay.
one's
Yeah,
smart
that's
when the
why you
hormones-
gotta
None
rub
of
one
us
out
are.
and get some post-nut clarity.
That's why we get the PNC, the
Yeah.
Popper
That's
November
his whole
Charlie.
problem. He never rubbed one out and got post-nut clarity.
He never
That's really
did.
awful. All right,
She
we ready to
should
move on to
just
Envy?
Boris Rod for a little longer.
I would say
Right.
that Gawain is prideful, but I don't know that he embodies the sin of pride. That would be I don't know that he's that far down the road.
I
I
don't know.
mean, he did feel like it was his duty to take out Demandred.
Speaking of lust,
I think he felt more that it was his duty to die at whatever, to do whatever it took to protect the.
that's what I'm
whoever it
saying.
was.
That's what I'm saying. He was kind of prepped for this. He was groomed for this.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
so is he actually?
But he's also given all of the information to not be this way, and is still so confident that he knows better than everyone else.
Especially now that there are repercussions to him doing what he does to other people.
You could also make the case that he's gluttonous, though.
You could.
He's gluttonous for this glory that he's chasing.
And
for the
envious as
violence
well.
that
We
he's
could
chasing.
just keep piling on. I could really keep going. Like, that saddle is very empty and I could fill it up. Like,
So there are definitely aspects of the other
Gotta eat your
sins
gummy
that
worms,
a lot of
Colin.
folks fit. The trick we're having here is what is the sin they're most guilty of?
And that's the thing, is that's
to
what
me
I'm
that's
saying.
the same thing with Samael. Like, is Samael guilty of pride? Yes. Is he more guilty of pride than he is guilty of envy? Like, that, to me, that's where the distinction comes
This
in.
is one of those shitty tests where it says choose the most correct answer.
Yeah, this is a CompTIA style test.
and honestly, the reason Gawain came to me in this is because I can't possibly tell you what book it's in, but there is a passage where Gawain is just thinking to himself that it is his not only duty, but his birthright to do this. And people are taking it from him. And that's not fair. That's not right. He is the one. He is the one that is supposed to be doing this. He is the one that is supposed to be sacrificing. He is the first, like, son of the sword. Like, he is the one that's supposed to be doing this. And no one else should be taking that from him. And I can't remember which part of the books that's in, but that portion is what I'm thinking of here, where it's like,
Yeah.
boy, the pride. And yes, he was raised in that pride. So you can only blame him so much. Like, there's,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a tragic pride, but he does have that. That does motivate a lot of his actions, is that
That is true.
pride that he should be the hero, the savior, the one sacrificing. And whether or not he's right is neither here nor there, but that's why I nominated him for the pride.
Love it.
Yeah. I can't find the passage, but like there's a trail of crumbs for the mentality, right? In the Towers of Midnight, when he gets the blood knives, he's like told that they'll kill him or shorten his life dramatically at best, but they're irreversible once used. He uses them anyway. This is paraphrasing, but he justifies them internally by saying if he can trade his life for Egwene's safety, then that's the correct choice. Clearly,
Yeah.
tossing aside any understanding of the water bond, believing that this is what a prince is for, and then like the kind of ideology of if I die doing my duty, then my life at least has meaning. So he's like super prideful for all of the wrong, like for all
Yeah.
the wrong reasons with the right motivations.
He's so selflessly prideful. Like, he's so
Yeah.
he's so
Yeah.
self-assured
weird.
that he should be the one sacrificing. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's a tragic pride
Yeah.
because it's
Shall
for
we
all the
move
right
on?
reasons.
Shall we move on to envy?
Envy.
And I don't mean the envy from Full Metal Alchemist.
We
Fuck that bitch.
got it shit rocked by
hated it.
Colonel Mustang.
Yeah, as she deserved. Oh,
Correct.
time to go squirt my turkey here in a second.
Mm.
So envy in the Christian monastic tradition, or Nvidia, starting with an I, not just N, and not to be confused with the GPU company.
Oh.
So it's resentment towards others for what they have, such as status, success, beauty, favor, things of that nature. And it's considered deadly because it doesn't just want what others have; it wants them not to have it. So historical or theological origins. Again, so one of the earliest sins we see in the Bible after the Garden of Eden, Cain slaying Abel, because Cain was jealous of Abel's favoritism from his sacrifices to God. It's seen as a sin that destroys community. The opposing holy virtues are kindness or charity. And the classic imagery is a green-eyed figure whispering or clutching another person's possessions. So, for this, let's
Beware
go.
the green-eyed monster.
Yeah, almost as venomous as the one-eyed monster. So in this, y'all already know who I picked for this, so I'm not gonna belabor the point on that. Reese, who do you have for this? As I go squirting the turkey.
So this one's tough because I feel like my pick for this one could have applied to a lot. However, I picked Lanfear for envy.
Ooh, interesting.
Because she doesn't, like, yes, she wants Luz Theron, she wants Rand, she wants the person, but I think more so than that, especially as the story goes on, she wants not just power but freedom. She wants to not be told what to do. She wants to not have to worry about anything. She wants to not have any, like, guidelines at all. She wants power.
Would that? Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
And so I think that's, I mean, like I said, I feel like this could go in a lot of things, but I think that's envy, because I think that Luz Theron has the most reach of the pattern of anyone else, and she really wishes that she had that. And that's why I gave her envy.
Okay, I can see that, and I like that perspective. I like that side of it. Because my thing, I would always kind of put Lanfear as greedy, and not for any other reason except I'd even say it's not even originally, it's not even, such a bad thing, because it's more the greed of a scientist. It's more the greed of, I want knowledge. I want to understand how this works. I want to know the mysteries of the universe. And it rapidly spins out of control because she lets her greed take over. She lets her greed start making those shots. And even when she realizes that she can't have Luz Theron, she immediately switches to something else and she starts to, oh, but I guess, but you could make the case that that's like covetous, which is also a form of envy.
See, I have a personal rant that I go on, in that every deadly sin derives from greed. Every single one. And I've had good debates on this. I haven't won all of them. But there's a lot to be said, that there's a lot that comes from greed, that a lot of the other sins kind of can evolve from a
They're sort of rooted, right?
greed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the theological danger in the seven deadly sins, is that so many of them are so easily linked to the others. But just in the Christian monastic tradition, pride winds up being there because they're like, well, for you to even consider eating the fruit after God told you not to, you have to think that you know better than God. And so that's kind of a, whether you agree or not, or think it's scapegoating or whatever, that's kind of it. I mean, I definitely could see the argument for greed, and I'm sure that they spent plenty of time arguing about it, and then eventually we're just like, we can't keep arguing. We're going to fall victim to the sins. Whatever you say, Pope.
Oh no.
I don't know. For, like I said earlier, like for me, envy, I think best fits Samael, because like his main thing is that he sees what Luz Theron had during the Second Age, and his like main impetus for going to the Shadow is because he feels that he should have had everything that Luz Theron got, and that Luz Theron shouldn't have any of that because he should have it. And to me, that's pretty textbook envy. And even after his unsealing, it's the same way. He doesn't want Rand to have anything because he feels that anything Rand has is something Luz Theron has, which is something that should have innately kind of been fated to be his. But he has this fixation on Luz Theron's achievements, and then he's never like satisfied with what he has, but always wants everything that Rand is, the power, the reverence, the honorifics given to him. And he always wants that. That's why nothing is ever enough for him. Like Ilian for him is like, he sees it as nothing more than like a consolation prize to just have like his own territory. And he's like, well, yeah, cool, that's great. But he's got Tyr. Why don't I have Tyr? This is bullshit. It's like, but you have Ilian. Like, yeah, but it's not Tyr. It's like it's like the the child that like has a toy, but their sibling is playing with a toy, so and they're like, they don't want their toy anymore. They want the other kid's toy now. And it's like, but you have your own. Even if it's the same toy, like we always laugh about it a lot of times when we see kids playing, because it's like, oh, how ridiculous. But it's like, that's what this is. And so much of what he does is trying to prove that Rand is ultimately just unworthy of his titles and his accolades and his supposed destiny. And this winds up blinding him entirely tactically. So he makes a slew of tactical blunders despite his status as a very decently respected tactician. But ultimately his envious focus on Rand and just finally getting one up on Rand and getting something Rand doesn't have leads him directly into the tendrils of Mashadar. He becomes so blinded by his envy and so focused on just making sure he takes something that Rand can't have, or just like takes victory in this fight, that he doesn't even notice the other threats around him. And Mashadar grabs him.
Which is so perfect. Like, that's so perfect for Mashadar.
Yeah, like which also fits in because Mashadar was born out of greed, but so I don't know why I said it was perfect, because I was born out of greed, not out of envy. So
well, I mean,
because we talked about greed.
Say they go together. They're friends.
Yeah. But there's a good in that debate angle that I mentioned earlier is envy just kind of like a weaker version of pride? Is it still in the same familial vein as pride? It's just a weaker version. It's less of, I'm inherently the best. I was already there. I just wasn't recognized, and more of like, well, it shouldn't have been him. It should have been me, kind of thing. Like it's a very, if there is a line, it's a very thin line to walk, but the
Yeah.
difference makes all the difference. It's like
Yeah,
pride is just I should have had it from whoever. It doesn't matter because I am just the best.
yeah.
Envy is a little bit more focused, and it adds on that thing of not only should I have had it because I'm better, but he shouldn't have had it.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I
Adds in
wouldn't have
that
known
I
that I
don't want
wanted
them to
it.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe I wouldn't have known that I wanted it if they hadn't had
Yeah,
it.
I feel that way about shit that I bought. Like I have like the Ninja Lux coffee machine I have. I would have never got it if one of my coworkers never mentioned it in the fucking office.
Hey,
That he
how
was looking at buying one. You know
is
who has
any
one
good?
and who doesn't? I got one. He never fucking bought one, and he's the whole reason I even knew it existed. Fucking asshole.
Andrew, I hate to interrupt, but I'm feeling a little envious. How good is your coffee maker?
Actually, it's pretty fucking dope. It's great. It's like a really good middle ground between like the labor intensive kind of version of like an espresso machine where you have to like keep swapping stuff out and doing all this, and like the commercial brand where it's like stupid expensive. Like this is a really good middle ground. I can make espressos, lattes, cappuccinos. I can foam my own milk.
I like
Great.
foaming my own.
Yeah, you gotta foam your milk.
You do. It's true.
It is.
They
it is
proved
great.
it back in 1947.
Oh, I like this. Pride is internal, where envy is interpersonal.
Ugh,
Oh, okay.
cool.
You don't need someone else to be around for your pride to be the sin, but you do need somebody else to be envious of to experience envy. I like that.
I like that. I can experience pride all on my own. Get out of here.
I do. Every time I stand in front of a full length mirror.
level.
Ah.
Love it.
Anything else about envy, or do we want to do one more and then make
Let's
this
do one more.
another thing that we're going to do a part 2 of?
Another one, yeah.
Yeah. That'll be the thing after the first of the year. We'll have to get on our part 2
Get all of our part 2s.
or next week. I don't know. Did I put one on the schedule yet?
I just have
Let me
to
look real
point
quick.
out that our part 2 of this episode would start with lust, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh no, I do have one because next week is we're finally doing the part 2 of the Ruinian episode,
Ew.
and then we're doing a White Bridge deep dive, and then we're doing White Cloaks versus Black Tower part 2. So we'll do something else in between that part 2, and then we'll do this part 2. If I can time
It's going
this
to be
would
great.
All right, so the next sin is the sin of wrath. Wrath or ira or ir is uncontrolled anger, hatred, or desire for vengeance. Deadly because
This
it
one's
overrides
easy.
reason and leads to violence, cruelty, and destruction. History and theological origin, it's distinguished from righteous anger, which for those in the Christian tradition is a very important distinction. It's literally the distinction that turns pretty much anger from being like a sin basically to being like we understand but just don't act on it kind of thing. It's generally condemned when it becomes obsessive or unjust, but again, that just means it's condemned when it's not righteous anger. And the opposing holy virtue becomes patience. The classic image is a warrior with a raised weapon, eyes blazing. So think kind of like Balsamon. But the big thing, uncontrolled anger, hatred, or desire for vengeance. Josh, who you got?
Nazarem motherfucking Tain.
Oh.
Okay.
The Mahail himself. I think he is cold fury from the beginning. I think that he is angry that he's not the Dragon Reborn. I think he's angry that Rand isn't willing to acknowledge him as an equal. And I think he uses that anger and takes it out on the recruits of the Black Tower. And in his anger, becomes a Forsaken with the goal of burning the world down because he's not the dragon.
I really enjoy our picks for this one. Just like across the board.
Yeah.
It's a really good pick. I really enjoy that pick. That's a really good one.
Who's your pick?
So my pick is kind of funny because it's more of like a I don't know the right term. It's like a I feel like with wrath we tend to think of like anger and rage, but I kind of went with like a cool hatred, so I went with Mogedion for
Ooh.
I went with her as kind of like everyone underestimates her, everyone ignores her. They kind of just think that she's off to the side, and she is tired of being underestimated. She's tired of being ignored. She has her own plans, and she's going to use that underestimation to get what she wants. And like, I don't know if I would have necessarily thought of it so much without the show, because I feel like she was a lot more formidable. She was a lot more horror-esque in the show than I had kind
Yeah.
of pictured her in the books. And I feel like that kind of lent itself to this, to get this assignment, and that's where she got her wrath. For me, is that like, oh, you think I'm softly from the shadows?
I'm softly,
I am,
softly
and
gonna
I will
snip your
weave
neck,
a
bitch.
web with your blood.
Yeah, and she's just like, it's terrifying.
Okay. So for me, I'm going with Cimarog for Wrath.
Ooh.
So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and for the first point in my multi-point essay on why Cimarog is right, because this one is like Wrath is like a little bit of a harder one to discuss, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna point out why I think both the Mahale and Mogedion don't fit. Because I'm gonna be that dick. So one of the main tenements about Wrath is that the uncontrolled rage or cruelty is part of the identity of the person, right? This is something that they do as part of their identity, and it's very often reactive, right? It's a very unstable kind of characteristic to have as a person, right? So these key components are going to be things like emotional violence is pretty central. Like it's a very emotional call or emotional involvement in conducting violence. Punishing others is expressive, not just purely strategic, right? So you can punish others just to punish others. It's not always a strategic move. But it's also this impulsive or sadistic streak that drives their ultimate failure. So for the Mahale, his actions are more frequently calculated and strategic. He consolidates his power, trains the Black Tower, manipulates followers for efficiency, not out of any kind of emotional vengeance. And he rarely, if ever, lashes out in like a personal fury to the people at the Black Tower, from what we see. And even whenever he executes Black Tower members, or whenever he punishes Logain, or the rogues as he calls them, or views them under Logain, it's discipline and control, not an expression of like wrathful intent. So it's a lot more kind of controlled and strategic under than it is wrathful to me. For Mogedion, her hallmarks are stealth and manipulation and patience, not overt aggression. Rarely or barely even reactive anger. I mean, yes, she is very frequently angry at Nynaeve. But even within that anger, she works from the shadows, preferring like this subtle form of control over outright terror. And whenever she chooses to be cruel, the cruelty is calculated. It's not done for an expressive purpose. Like she aims to dominate, but without drawing attention. And she generally avoids like that outright, in your face confrontation, preferring her victims to fail unknowingly or slow for them. So why do I think then the Cimarog fits? Because her torture for her isn't just like something she can do. It's a whole ideology, right? She doesn't just torture to extract information. She enjoys the breaking of her victims, like her work on the rulers and captives in Abu Dar, and then later in Teleron Riyadh. It's all very sadistic and methodical, and her joy comes from the fear, humiliation, and pain that she imparts on those individuals rather than any kind of material gain she gets from it. And ultimately, her desire for this her wrathful kind of nature drives her to push her victims further than necessary, often leading to some strategic miscalculations on her part.
Slight
Yeah,
miscalculation.
yeah. So like in Lord of Chaos and Crown of Swords, Robert Jordan highlights her as cold, calculating torture with clear pleasure in psychological damnation or domination. And then in Teleron Riyadh and Crossroads of Twilight, her obsession with breaking Rand and Egwene shows that her wrath guides her actions. It's not external necessity. So she's all about just causing just pain and agony for the sake of causing pain and agony and just being cruel for the purpose of being cruel. And it's
However,
central to her identity and drives everything she does.
I give a
Yes, ma'am.
however here. That's why she gets my bracket for the next one that I didn't get to add in. I also give her a runner-up for lust because she
Oh.
really,
Yay.
really enjoys causing that pain.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think what makes Wrath like kind of hard to talk about is because Wrath is often seen, talked about, and portrayed as like this very explosive, destructive force kind of thing, like Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins. He's the son of Wrath because when he can't control his emotions, like he literally destroys entire cities, and it happens over and over and over again. And it's generally seen as like this very outbursting, uncontrollable display of power. But like in the underlying of it, when you break down the psychology behind it, like Meliodas does that because he wants everybody to pay for causing him to suffer the way he's suffering, kind of thing. He wants retribution. He wants vengeance. Everybody should pay because I have to suffer.
However,
Whereas
I will
for
say-
Cimarog, she's wrathful just because she just loves being cruel
does
and
love
desires
cruel.
doing cruel things. Like she is sadism at its core.
Yeah.
Well, and see, actually, from you describing that, I was thinking, is Lanfear a better contender for Wrath? Every time she gets upset, some city disappears from the map.
You're not wrong. And in the
Yeah.
TV show, she did quite literally burn the entire Foregate down.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did.
she did. Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of characters that have very a lot of the Forsaken that have very wrathful moments. Like
Mhm.
I think like the Mahale's fighting against Egwene, I think is very much like a wrathful moment. But he's
Yeah.
also like trying to prove himself. But it's strategy in his fight with Egwene more so like this needs to happen less than like I just want you to die because I'm so pissed or I want to cause you pain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Gideon, I think would be. I would agree closer as like for me a runner up for Wrath because of her. But it's so hyper focused on Nynaeve. It doesn't go with any that's the only thing that makes me say like it. She doesn't quite fit Wrath because hers is targeted. It's a very specific.
Yeah, it's
Just this
almost like,
one person.
I'll take it from everyone else, but not from you.
Yeah. And she within the scope of Nynaeve, like I agree, she's very wrathful, but it's to me it's only Nynaeve. And for me, and I know I said this at the start, I think the biggest deciding factor was going to be, and I still believe it still is what causes the downfall of the individuals. Is their downfall still caused by something in line with the sin being ascribed to them? Does Cimarog die because she is wrathful? And I think she does, because she's like she doesn't go after men because men needs to die. She tries to kill men because she wants Rand to suffer horribly, and then Rand blocks it and then fucking takes the belt to her ass, no fucking problem. I mean,
You're not wrong.
obviously a little problem because he can't say take my strong hand anymore. It's more like you want to get he can't
Just
fist
use my
anymore. He's got
strong
like you want to
hand.
get stubbed. You want a good stubbing.
Good stubbing,
Good
baby.
one.
Give her a good stubbing.
Only if you're eating your gummy worms.
Hey man, ain't no gummy worms when you're talking about stubbing.
I like this. I like this topic. This is fun. This has been real chewy. I'm enjoying it. What?
She took
What do
so
you
much
guys
to Sweeney.
listening along? What do you guys think? What are people that you think we've missed, or maybe points that we've missed? Who do you think embodies wrath, envy,
Pride.
and pride? That's right.
We've made it through
Word.
3 of the 7.
I can word. Huh?
We've made it through 3 of the 7. We've still got
We did good.
what? We got lust, greed, gluttony, and sloth.
We'll do
left. And
we'll do
then
part 2
any of
quicker
the
so we can get all 4
uncovered.
of them.
Then any of the uncovered Forsaken. So let us know. What do you think about who we've covered already? Who would you put under pride, envy, and wrath as a Forsaken, and even as like a non-Forsaken character? Let us know down in the show notes or comments down below. Comments,
Do it.
whatever it is down below. Like the video,
Do it.
subscribe, send it to your friends, do all the fun things.
Do it.
But for those of us here at the Black Tower Podcast, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all you do to help support what we do here at the Black Terror Podcast. I have been Andrew, your Bajan Mahil.
And I have been Josh, your Mahale of the Sorovan variety.
And I have been Reese, your Mahale of Aethons, glovin' and lovin'.
Yeah, you put on the glove and you don't have any 7 deadly sins all over your hands. Ew.
Hey,
7 deadly sins? Not if you glove up.
not if you glove up.
You've been waiting for this moment, for this feeling to grow. In the shadows, always watching, always running the show.